Do you have any idea who I am? I will destroy you. I will destroy this court. I will destroy everything you've ever worked for. Those words echo through Providence Municipal Court. The woman saying them is Victoria Brennan. She is 42 years old. She stands in front of Judge Frank Caprio. Her arms are crossed. Her face is red with anger. She wears a white Chanel suit. It probably costs $8,000. Diamond earrings sparkle under the lights. They're easily worth a new car. Her Hermès Birkin bag sits on the defense table. That bag costs more than most people make in 6 months. Her perfectly manicured nails tap against her arm. The sound is sharp, impatient, like a clock counting down to an explosion. This is not how court usually goes. If you believe justice should be equal for everyone, you'll want to see what happens next. The case number is 2025 TR 94738. It seems simple at first. Just a parking violation. But nothing about this case will be simple. Nothing about this day will be forgotten. Let's go back to the beginning. The morning starts like any other in Judge Caprio's courtroom. The American flag stands in the corner. The Rhode Island state flag next to it. Wooden benches fill with people. Some look nervous. Some look tired. Most look like they just want to go home. They have jobs to get to, kids to pick up, lives to live. The bailiff stands at attention. He's a big man. Former Marine. 20 years in this courtroom. He's seen everything. Or so he thinks. Today will surprise even him. All rise, the bailiff announces. His voice is strong, clear. It fills every corner of the room. The Municipal Court of Providence is now in session. The Honorable Judge Frank Caprio presiding. Everyone stands. Judge Caprio enters from his chambers. He's 78 years old, but moves with energy. His black robe is pressed and clean. His eyes are kind but sharp. They miss nothing. He's been doing this for decades. He's seen rich and poor, young and old, angry and sorry. He treats them all the same. That's what makes him special. Good morning, everyone, Judge Caprio says. His voice is warm, like a grandfather talking to his family. Please be seated. People sit down. Papers rustle. Someone coughs. The court clerk, Maria Rodriguez, organizes files on her desk. She's been working with Judge Caprio for 15 years. They work like a well-oiled machine. First case, Judge Caprio says. Before Maria can respond, the courtroom doors open. Not gently. They swing wide. Bang against the walls. Everyone turns to look. Victoria Brennan enters. She walks like she owns the place. Her heels click on the tile floor. Click, click, click. Each step is deliberate, loud. She wants everyone to know she's here. Her blonde hair is pulled back tight, not a strand out of place. Her makeup is perfect. Her lips are painted deep red. Her eyes are cold, blue like ice. Behind her walks her lawyer. His name is Richard Ashford. He's from one of those big firms downtown, the kind with 30 names on the door. He carries a leather briefcase. It's so shiny you can see your reflection. He looks uncomfortable. His tie is a little too tight. Sweat forms on his forehead. Case 2025 TR 94738, Maria says. She reads from her screen. The City of Providence versus Victoria Brennan. Multiple parking violations. Failure to appear. Contempt of court summons. Judge Caprio looks at the file. His eyebrows raise slightly. Mrs. Brennan, you were supposed to be here 3 months ago. Victoria stops at the defense table. She doesn't sit down. She stands there, hands on her hips. I was busy, she says. Just 2 words. Like that explains everything. The judge keeps his face neutral. Professional. I see. Well, you're here now. Let's address these violations. According to this, you have 17 unpaid parking tickets. They total $4,250. That's ridiculous, Victoria says. Her voice is sharp, cutting. Those spots weren't clearly marked. Mrs. Brennan, her lawyer whispers. He touches her arm. Please let me handle this. She shakes him off. Like he's a fly. Annoying. Unwanted. Judge Caprio continues. The tickets were issued over 14 months. Different locations. Different dates. All in clearly marked handicap zones. I was only there for a minute each time, Victoria says. She waves her hand. Dismissive. It's not like anyone was using those spots. A woman in the 3rd row gasps. Her name is Dorothy Chun. She's 68 years old. She uses a wheelchair. She came to court today for her own case. A dispute about a wheelchair ramp. She grips the armrest of her wheelchair. Her knuckles turn white. Judge Caprio sees this. He sees everything. Mrs. Brennan, those spots are reserved for people with disabilities. They're not suggestions. They're the law. The law, Victoria repeats. She laughs. It's not a happy sound. It's cold. Mean. Do you know who my husband is? Here it comes. Judge Caprio has heard this before. The name drop. The threat. The assumption that power matters more than rules. He folds his hands on his desk. I do know who your husband is. Mayor Thomas Brennan. A good man who I respect very much. But he's not the one standing in my courtroom today. You are. Victoria's eyes narrow. My husband's office contributes significantly to this city's budget, including the courts. The room goes very quiet. You could hear a pin drop. Even the air conditioning seems to stop. Richard Ashford stands up quickly. His face is pale. Your Honor, I apologize. My client is understandably stressed. She didn't mean. I meant exactly what I said, Victoria interrupts. She steps forward, closer to the bench. This court operates because of taxpayer money. My husband's policies bring in that money. So technically you work for us. A man in the back row stands up. He's a city worker, wearing a blue uniform. That's not how it works, he shouts. The bailiff moves toward him. Sir, please sit down. The man sits, but he's angry. Everyone can see it. Judge Caprio doesn't react to Victoria's statement. Not yet. He's heard worse. He's seen worse. He believes in giving people chances, opportunities to correct themselves, to show respect. Mrs. Brennan, I'm going to pretend I didn't hear that. Let's focus on the matter at hand. You have 17 tickets. You ignored 3 notices to appear. You're now in contempt of this court. Do you have anything to say about these violations? Yes, Victoria says. I want them dismissed. All of them. On what grounds? On the grounds that I have better things to do than worry about parking spots. I have charity galas to organize, fundraisers to run. I chair 4 committees. I don't have time to circle around looking for parking like some common person. Common person. Those words hang in the air. Heavy. Ugly. Dorothy Chin shakes her head. Tears form in her eyes. She's a retired teacher. She taught for 40 years. She worked hard every day. Shaped young minds. Built the future. And this woman just called her common. Judge Caprio takes off his glasses. He cleans them with a cloth from his robe pocket. It's something he does when he's thinking. Processing. Mrs. Brennan, everyone in this city is equal under the law. Your busy schedule doesn't entitle you to park in handicapped spots. These spots exist for people who need them. People who can't walk long distances. People who use wheelchairs or walkers. Then they should get there earlier, Victoria says. The courtroom erupts. Not with shouts. With gasps. With shocked whispers. A woman drops her purse. The contents spill across the floor. Nobody moves to help her pick them up. Everyone is frozen. Stunned. Richard Ashford puts his head in his hands. His career is flashing before his eyes. Judge Caprio's expression changes. Just slightly. His jaw tightens. His eyes, usually so warm, turn cold. But his voice stays calm. Professional. Mrs. Brennan, I want to introduce you to someone. Dorothy, could you come forward, please? Dorothy Chun wheels herself to the front. Her hands shake on the wheels. She stops next to Victoria. She has to look up. Victoria is standing. Dorothy is sitting. The symbolism isn't lost on anyone. Dorothy is a retired schoolteacher, Judge Caprio says. She taught 2nd grade for 40 years. She taught my grandchildren, actually. Wonderful woman. 2 years ago, she was hit by a drunk driver. She lost the use of her legs. She can't walk anymore. But she's still independent. Still active. Still contributes to this community. She volunteers at the library. She tutors children for free. She needs those handicapped spots. Not because she's lazy. Not because she's common. Because she physically cannot walk from a distant parking spot. Do you understand? Victoria looks at Dorothy. Really looks at her for the first time. For a moment, something flickers in her eyes. Maybe recognition. Maybe shame. But it passes quickly. I'm sorry that happened to her, Victoria says. Her voice is flat. Empty. But that doesn't change the fact that I didn't know anyone needed those spots when I parked there. You didn't look, Dorothy says quietly. Her voice shakes. Every single one of those spots has a sign. A big blue sign with the wheelchair symbol. You didn't look because you didn't care. Don't tell me what I care about, Victoria snaps. You don't know me. You don't know my life. You don't know the pressure I'm under. Pressure, Dorothy repeats. She laughs, but there's no humor in it. I have pressure too. Pressure for my medical bills. I pay $3,000 a month for physical therapy, for equipment, for medications. I live on a teacher's pension. It's not much, but I don't park in handicapped spots. I am handicapped, and even I make sure there's room for others who might need it more. Victoria's face flushes. How dare you compare us? We're nothing alike. You're right, Dorothy says. We're not. Judge Caprio raises his hand. Thank you, Dorothy. You can return to your seat. He waits until she wheels back. Then he looks at Victoria. Really looks at her. Mrs. Brennan, let's review the evidence. Clerk, please bring up the photographs. Maria clicks on her computer. The large screen on the wall flickers to life. It shows a photograph. A silver Mercedes SUV. License plate clearly visible. It's parked in a handicapped spot. The blue sign is right there in the frame. Impossible to miss. The date stamp shows March 15th. This is your vehicle, correct? Judge Caprio asks. Yes, Victoria says. And that's a handicapped spot. Obviously. Next photo, please. Another image appears. Same car. Different location. Different date. April 3rd. Another handicapped spot. And another. May 18th, same thing. Maria clicks through all 17 photos. Each one the same. Silver Mercedes. Handicapped spot. Clear as day. These photos were taken by parking enforcement officers, Judge Caprio explains. They show a pattern. Not mistakes. Not accidents. A pattern of deliberate behavior. You parked in these spots because it was convenient. Because they're usually close to entrances. Because you didn't want to walk an extra 50 feet. I have bad knees, Victoria says suddenly. Do you have a handicap placard? Judge Caprio asks. Silence. Mrs. Brennan, do you have a handicap placard or license plate? No, but I could get one. My doctor would write me a note. But you don't have one now. You've never applied for one. In fact, according to your driver's license application from 2 years ago, you answered no to all disability questions. Victoria's mouth opens, closes, opens again. My knees have gotten worse since then. Convenient, someone mutters from the gallery. Judge Caprio continues. Let's talk about the failure to appear. You were sent 3 notices. First one came certified mail. You signed for it. We have the signature. He holds up a document. That's your signature, correct? Victoria barely glances at it. I get a lot of mail. Second notice came 6 weeks later. Also certified. Also signed for. Same signature. I told you. I'm busy. Third notice came with a warning. It stated clearly that failure to appear would result in contempt charges and a warrant. You signed for that one too. 3 months ago. I was out of the country, Victoria says. According to your social media accounts, you were at your summer house in Newport. That's 45 minutes away. Victoria's eyes flash with anger. You looked at my social media? That's an invasion of privacy. It's public, Mrs. Brennan. You posted photos. You tagged the location. You checked in at restaurants. All in Rhode Island. All during the time you were supposed to appear in this court. Richard Ashford stands again. Your Honor, if I may, my client has expressed willingness to pay the fines. Perhaps we can resolve this without further. Sit down, Richard, Victoria says. She doesn't look at him. Doesn't take her eyes off Judge Caprio. I don't need you to speak for me. Mrs. Brennan, I strongly advise. I said sit down. Richard sits. He looks like he wants to disappear into the floor. Victoria turns back to Judge Caprio. Her chin lifts. Defiant. Let me be very clear. I don't appreciate being lectured. I don't appreciate being embarrassed in front of these people. And I certainly don't appreciate having my social media accounts stalked by court staff. This entire proceeding is inappropriate. I want these charges dismissed. I want an apology. And I want it now. The courtroom is so quiet you can hear hearts beating. Judge Caprio leans back in his chair. He's been a judge for a very long time. He's seen entitled people before. Rich people who think rules don't apply to them. But this is different. This is brazen. This is someone who genuinely believes she's above the law. Above common decency. Mrs. Brennan, he says slowly. Let me make sure I understand. You parked in handicapped spots 17 times. You ignored 3 court notices. You just showed contempt for this court and its procedures. And now you want an apology. Yes, Victoria says. Because this is a waste of my time. Do you know what I could be doing right now? I have a meeting with the governor's wife. We're planning a charity event that will raise $500,000. That money will help people. Real people. Not parking enforcement officers with nothing better to do than harass successful citizens. Harass, Judge Caprio repeats. Is that what we're doing? Yes. This whole thing is harassment. It's targeting. My husband has political enemies. People who want to embarrass him. That's what this is really about. You're using me to get to him. Judge Caprio's expression doesn't change. Mrs. Brennan, I've never met your husband. I've never spoken to him. I have no political agenda. I have one job. To enforce the law fairly and equally. That's what I'm doing. Then enforce it fairly, Victoria says. How many other people get dragged into court for parking tickets? Everyone who ignores court notices, Judge Caprio responds. Last week, I had a college student here for 3 unpaid tickets. The week before, a restaurant owner. The week before that, a construction worker. They all came. They all faced the same process. They all took responsibility. And you know what? Most of them couldn't afford the fines. They had to set up payment plans. They had to sacrifice. But they did it. Because that's what responsible people do. Victoria laughs. It's a harsh sound. Bitter. Responsible people. Is that what you think they are? Please. They probably all had excuses. Sob stories. And you probably believed every one. Let me guess. You reduced their fines. You gave them breaks. You felt sorry for them. I treated them with dignity, Judge Caprio says. Just like I'm treating you. Don't compare me to them, Victoria snaps. I'm nothing like them. I contribute to this city. I raise money. I organize events. I make Providence better. What do? They park illegally and then cry about the consequences. A man in the second row stands up. He's wearing work boots and jeans. Paint stains cover his shirt. I was here last month, he says. His voice is loud. Strong. I had 2 tickets. I couldn't pay them right away because my daughter needed medicine. Judge Caprio let me do community service instead. He showed me kindness. He showed me respect. Something you clearly know nothing about. Sir, the bailiff says. Please. No, let him speak, Judge Caprio says. The man continues. I work construction. I get up at 5 every morning. I work until dark. My hands bleed sometimes. My back hurts. But I do it. For my family. For my kids. And I don't park in handicapped spots because I'm not selfish. I'm not entitled. I'm not you. Victoria whirls on him. How dare you speak to me like that? Security, remove this man. I'm not removing anyone, the bailiff says. He has a right to be here. Then I'll have him removed. Victoria pulls out her phone. Her fingers fly across the screen. I'm calling my husband right now. We'll see how brave you all are when the mayor gets involved. Put the phone away, Judge Caprio says. His voice is still calm, but there's steel underneath. You're in my courtroom. You'll follow my rules. Victoria doesn't put the phone away. She holds it up. I'm texting him right now. He'll straighten this out. He'll remind you who signs your paycheck. Mrs. Brennan, put the phone away. That's a direct order. Or what? Victoria challenges. What are you going to do? Hold me in contempt? Go ahead. Try it. See what happens to your career. The bailiff steps forward. His hand rests on his belt. Not threatening. Just ready. Judge Caprio stands up. Everyone in the courtroom stands with him. It's automatic. Respectful. Victoria remains seated, staring at her phone. Mrs. Brennan, Judge Caprio says. His voice is different now. Harder. I've been patient. I've been respectful. I've given you every opportunity to take this seriously. But you've shown nothing but contempt. For this court. For the law. For the people around you. So let me be very clear. Put the phone away right now, or you will be removed from this courtroom and held in custody until you can behave appropriately. Victoria looks up. She sees everyone standing. Sees the bailiff approaching. Sees her lawyer's terrified face. For the first time, uncertainty crosses her features. You can't do that. I can. And I will. Phone. Now. Something in his tone gets through. Victoria slowly places her phone on the table. Her hand shakes slightly. Just a tremor. But it's there. Thank you, Judge Caprio says. He sits. Everyone else sits. Now, let's proceed. Clerk, do we have the call logs? Maria nods. Yes, Your Honor. She pulls up another document on the screen. This shows incoming calls to the court administration office over the past 3 months. The screen fills with data. Dates, times, phone numbers. These highlighted entries, Maria points with a laser pointer, are all from the mayor's office. 15 calls total. All requesting updates on case 2025, TR 94738. All asking about dismissal possibilities. All attempting to speak directly with you, Your Honor. Judge Caprio looks at the screen. Then at Victoria. Did you know about these calls? I may have mentioned it to my husband, Victoria says. Her voice is quieter now. Less certain. You may have mentioned it. These calls came from his secretary. From his chief of staff. From his legal counsel. That's not mentioning. That's pressure. That's using your husband's position to interfere with the judicial process. He was just trying to help me, Victoria says. He was trying to subvert justice, Judge Caprio responds. And that's a problem. A serious problem. Because it suggests you both believe the rules don't apply to you. We just wanted this to go away, Victoria admits. It's embarrassing. It's beneath us. Beneath you, Judge Caprio repeats. There's that word again. Do you hear yourself? Do you understand what you're saying? You think following the law is beneath you. You think being held accountable is beneath you. You think the people in this courtroom are beneath you. I didn't say that. You didn't have to. Your actions say it loud and clear. Victoria's face crumbles slightly. Her perfect makeup can't hide the cracks. I just want to go home. We all want to go home, Mrs. Brennan. Dorothy wants to go home. That construction worker wants to go home. I want to go home. But first, we have to finish this. We have to see justice done. Justice, Victoria says bitterly. This isn't justice. This is a circus. No, Judge Caprio says. A circus is what you created when you decided the law didn't apply to you. What's happening now? This is accountability. And I think it's time you met someone else. He nods to Maria. She walks to the door and opens it. A woman enters. She's in her 50s. She wears scrubs. The blue kind nurses wear. Her name tag says Sarah Okafor, RN. She looks tired, like she just finished a long shift. Because she did. Your Honor, Sarah says. Thank you for accommodating my schedule. Of course, Sarah. Please, tell us why you're here. Sarah walks to the witness area. She doesn't sit. She stands. She looks directly at Victoria. On June 12th, I was bringing my son to his physical therapy appointment. My son is 8 years old. He has cerebral palsy. He uses a wheelchair. The therapy clinic is in downtown Providence. There are 2 handicapped spots in front. When we arrived, both were taken by cars that had no handicapped placards. No disability license plates. Nothing. One of those cars was a silver Mercedes SUV. Victoria's face goes pale. Sarah continues. I had to park 3 blocks away. It was raining. Not just drizzling. Pouring. I had to push my son's wheelchair through the rain. Through puddles. His wheelchair got stuck twice. By the time we got to the clinic, we were soaking wet. My son was shivering. We were 20 minutes late. They almost canceled the appointment. Those therapy sessions cost $250. I can barely afford them. I worked double shifts to pay for them. And we almost lost that appointment because someone couldn't be bothered to follow the rules. Tears streamed down Sarah's face. She doesn't wipe them away. My son looked up at me in that rain, water dripping down his face. And he asked me why some people get to park close and we don't. How do you explain that to an 8-year-old? How do you tell him that someone just didn't care? Victoria stares at the table. Her hands grip the edge. Her knuckles are white. I took a picture of that Mercedes, Sarah says. I reported it. I thought maybe, just maybe, the person would learn, would change, would realize that those spots matter, that they're not just suggestions. They're lifelines. For people like my son. For people like Dorothy. For everyone who needs them. Judge Caprio's eyes are soft as he looks at Sarah. Thank you for coming. I know this wasn't easy. No, Sarah says. But it was necessary. People need to understand. These aren't just parking spots. They're dignity. They're accessibility. They're the difference between being able to live your life or being trapped. She looks at Victoria one more time. I don't hate you. I don't even know you. But I hope you learned something today. I hope you understand what your convenience cost my son. Sarah walks out. The door closes behind her. The silence that follows is deafening. Judge Caprio lets the moment sit. He wants it to sink in. He wants Victoria to feel it. To really feel it. Finally he speaks. Mrs. Brennan, do you have anything to say? Victoria's voice is barely a whisper. I didn't know. You didn't want to know, Judge Caprio corrects. There's a difference. Sarah's story. Dorothy's situation. They're not unique. Every single one of those 17 spots you parked in, someone else needed. Someone else had to drive around looking for another spot. Someone else had to walk farther than they should have. Someone else suffered a little bit because you decided your time was more valuable than their needs. I'm sorry, Victoria says, but it sounds hollow. Empty. Are you? Judge Caprio asks. Are you really? Because I don't think you are. I think you're sorry you got caught. I think you're sorry you're being embarrassed. But I don't think you're sorry for what you did. Not yet. Maybe you will be. But we're not there yet. He picks up a document. Let's talk about something else. Your social media. You post frequently. Multiple times a day. Photos of your life. Your activities. Your opinions. That's my private life, Victoria protests. It's public posts. Anyone can see them. And they're quite interesting. On March 15th, the same day you parked in a handicapped spot downtown, you posted a photo. You were at a luxury spa. The caption said, and I quote, "Sometimes you just need to treat yourself. Life is too short to worry about the little things." The little things. Like parking legally, apparently. Victoria flinches. On April 3rd, another handicapped spot. Another post. This time from an expensive restaurant. Caption, lunch with the ladies. We're the ones who make this city run. Below that, you wrote a comment responding to someone who criticized the cost of the meal. You said, if you can't afford it, don't look at it. Some of us have earned our lifestyle. That was taken out of context, Victoria says weakly. Was it? Let me continue. May 18th. You parked in a handicapped spot near the waterfront. That same evening, you posted about attending a charity gala. You wrote, so grateful to give back to our community. Everyone deserves a chance. Everyone deserves a chance. Except the person who needed that parking spot you took, right? That's not fair, Victoria says. I do charity work. I help people. Do you? Judge Caprio challenges. Or do you attend charity events to be seen? To take photos? To feel good about yourself? Because real charity, Mrs. Brennan, starts with basic human decency. With following simple rules that exist to help others. With thinking about someone other than yourself for 5 seconds. Victoria's eyes fill with tears. But they seem like angry tears. Frustrated tears. Not remorseful ones. Your Honor, Richard Ashford tries again. Perhaps we could take a short recess. Allow my client time to collect herself. No, Judge Caprio says. We're finishing this now. Mrs. Brennan, I want you to look at me. She doesn't. Look at me. Slowly, reluctantly, Victoria raises her eyes. What you did was wrong. Not just legally wrong. Morally wrong. You took something that wasn't yours. Not a physical object. Something more important. You took accessibility. You took dignity. You took the basic respect that every person deserves. And you did it 17 times. 17 separate occasions where you made a choice. A conscious decision to put yourself first. To ignore the needs of others. To treat the law like it was optional. I made a mistake, Victoria says. 17 mistakes. Judge Caprio asks. No. 17 choices. And then you compounded those choices by ignoring this court. By thinking you could make it go away through your husband's influence. By showing up here today with nothing but contempt and arrogance. I said I'm sorry. You said the words. But saying words doesn't mean anything if you don't mean them. If you don't understand why they're necessary. So let me help you understand. Let me make this very clear. You are not special. You are not above the law. Your husband's position doesn't protect you. Your wealth doesn't excuse you. Your charity work doesn't erase your actions. In this courtroom, you are equal to everyone else, and you will be held to the same standard. Victoria's tears fall faster now. Her makeup runs. Black mascara streaks down her cheeks. Her perfect image is cracking, breaking. But here's what really concerns me, Judge Caprio continues. It's not the parking violations. Those are serious, but they're fixable. What concerns me is your attitude, your belief that you're somehow better than everyone else. That's a sickness, Mrs. Brennan. That's a disease that rots society from the inside. It creates a world where some people matter and others don't. where some people get chances and others get ignored. That's not the world I want to live in. That's not the world I want my grandchildren to inherit. He pauses, takes a breath. The room waits. So here's what's going to happen. We're going to address these violations properly. We're going to discuss consequences. Real consequences. Not just fines that you can write a check for and forget about. Consequences that will teach you something. That will make you understand. That will hopefully change you. Victoria's hands shake. What kind of consequences? Let's start with the fines. 17 violations at $250 each. That's $4,250. Plus late fees of 50% because you ignored the notices. That brings us to $6,375. Victoria nods. Fine. I'll pay it. I'm not finished. Failure to appear 3 times. Each carries a fine of $1,000. That's $3,000 more. Total so far, $9,375. Richard Ashford writes numbers on his legal pad. His hand is shaking. But money isn't enough, Judge Caprio says. Money doesn't teach lessons. Not to people who have plenty of it. So we're adding more. Your license is suspended for 90 days. What? Victoria stands up. You can't do that. I need my car. I have things to do. Places to be. So does everyone else in this city. They'll manage. You'll manage. Call a driver. Take a taxi. Use public transportation. Figure it out. Public transportation, Victoria repeats. Horror in her voice. Like he just suggested she walk through fire. Yes. Buses. Trains. Same ones everyone else uses. It'll be educational. Next, community service. 200 hours. 200 hours. Victoria's voice cracks. That's months. That's right. 10 hours a week for 20 weeks. And here's what you'll be doing. You're going to work with the Office of Accessibility Services. You're going to help people with disabilities. You're going to push wheelchairs. You're going to assist with medical equipment. You're going to spend time in hospitals and therapy centers and disability support programs. You're going to see firsthand why those parking spots matter. Why accessibility matters. Why your convenience is not more important than someone else's needs. Victoria collapses into her chair. Her face is in her hands. Her shoulders shake. You'll report to Sandra Martinez. She's the Director of Accessibility Services. She's been doing this work for 30 years. She doesn't suffer fools. She doesn't accept excuses. You'll show up on time. You'll dress appropriately. No designer clothes. No expensive jewelry. You'll work. Real work. And at the end of each week, Sandra will submit a report to this court. If she tells me you're not taking it seriously, we'll add more hours. This is inhumane, Victoria sobs. Inhumane, Judge Caprio repeats. Do you know what's inhumane? An 8-year-old boy sitting in the rain because someone took his parking spot. A retired teacher having to park blocks away because someone couldn't walk an extra minute. That's inhumane. What I'm giving you is an opportunity. A chance to learn. A chance to grow. A chance to become a better person. I'm already a good person, Victoria insists. Then prove it. Show me. Show this court. Show Dorothy and Sarah and everyone else you heard. Actions, Mrs. Brennan. Not words. Actions. Judge Caprio picks up another document. There's more. You're going to write a formal apology. Not typed. Handwritten. 1,000 words minimum. Addressed to the disability community of Providence. You're going to explain what you did wrong. Why it was wrong. What you learned. And how you'll do better. That apology will be published in the Providence Journal. It will be posted on the city's website. It will be public. You want me to humiliate myself publicly? Victoria asks. I want you to take responsibility publicly. There's a difference. You committed these violations publicly. You'll answer for them publicly. My husband's career is not my concern. His career is his responsibility. This is about you. Your choices. Your accountability. Victoria looks at her lawyer. Do something. Appeal this. This is excessive. Richard shakes his head slowly. Mrs. Brennan, the judge is within his rights. Everything he's ordering is legal. If we appeal, it could get worse. Much worse. Worse. She laughs hysterically. How could it get worse? I could add contempt charges, Judge Caprio says. Would you like me to? Because your behavior in this courtroom today has been appalling. You've disrespected me. You've disrespected the process. You've shown contempt for everyone here. I could add 30 days in jail right now. Is that what you want? Silence. Heavy. Terrible. No, Victoria whispers. No, Your Honor. Then here's what you're going to do. You're going to accept this sentence with grace. You're going to complete your community service. You're going to write your apology. You're going to pay your fines. And you're going to learn something. You're going to become someone your husband can be truly proud of. Not because you throw fancy parties. Not because you wear expensive clothes. But because you understand what it means to be a decent human being. Judge Caprio stands. Everyone stands with him. Victoria struggles to her feet. She's shaking all over. One more thing, Judge Caprio says. At the end of your community service, you're going to come back to this courtroom. You're going to stand where you're standing now. And you're going to tell me what you learned. Not what you think I want to hear. The truth. Real growth. If I believe you've changed, we're done. If I don't, we'll add more service. More requirements. However long it takes. He gathers his papers. This court is adjourned. Mrs. Brennan, you have 72 hours to pay the fines. Your community service starts next Monday. Sandra Martinez will contact you with your schedule. Don't be late. Don't make excuses. Just show up and do the work. The gavel comes down. Bang. Final. Absolute. The bailiff approaches Victoria. Ma'am, I need you to come with me. We have paperwork to complete. She follows him. Her legs barely work. She looks like she's in shock. Like the world just tilted sideways. The courtroom empties slowly. People file out, whispering, discussing, processing what they just witnessed. Dorothy wheels herself over to Sarah, who waited in the hallway. They hug. Two women who were hurt, who were dismissed, who were finally heard. Thank you, Dorothy says. Thank you, Sarah responds. They leave together, united by shared experience, by shared dignity. Richard Ashford packs his briefcase. His hands still shake. Your Honor, he says quietly. For what it's worth, I tried to warn her. I know you did, Judge Caprio says. He's not angry at the lawyer. Some people need to learn the hard way. She's going to fight this. Appeal. Complain to everyone she knows. Let her, Judge Caprio says. The sentence will stand. The law is the law. Richard nods. I hope she learns. I really do. So do I, Judge Caprio says. So do I. 6 weeks pass. Victoria Brennan stands in front of a mirror. Not in her mansion. Not in her luxury bathroom with heated floors and gold fixtures. She's in a hospital staff room. The mirror is small, spotted with age. She wears simple clothes. Blue jeans. A plain gray t-shirt. Sneakers. Her hair is in a simple ponytail. No fancy styling. No salon treatments. She looks tired. But there's something different in her eyes. Something new. She's been working at Providence General Hospital, helping in the rehabilitation center. Her supervisor is a woman named Patricia. Patricia is tough. She's worked with disability patients for 25 years. She doesn't smile much. She doesn't offer praise easily. But she's fair. The first day was hell. Victoria showed up 10 minutes late. Patricia made her clean bedpans for 4 hours. People who can't respect time, Patricia said, start with the jobs nobody wants. Victoria cried that day. Cried in her car. Called her husband, begging him to make it stop. He said no. You brought this on yourself. You finish it. Day 2, she was on time. Patricia had her push wheelchairs. Help patients move from beds to chairs. It was physically exhausting. Victoria's hands blistered. Her back ached. She'd never worked so hard in her life. Day 3, she met Marcus. He's 12 years old. Born with muscular dystrophy. His muscles don't work right. Every movement is difficult. Every day is a struggle. But Marcus smiles. Always smiles. He tells jokes. Makes the nurses laugh. He's the brightest person in the entire hospital. Why are you here? Marcus asked Victoria that first day. Victoria thought about lying. Making up some story about volunteering. But Marcus's eyes were too honest. Too clear. I did something wrong, she admitted. I parked in handicapped spots. Lots of them. I didn't think it mattered. Marcus nodded slowly. Did you learn better? I'm trying to, Victoria said. Good, Marcus said. Everybody makes mistakes. Smart people learn from them. Over the following weeks, Victoria worked. Really worked. She helped Marcus with his physical therapy. She pushed Dorothy's wheelchair when Dorothy came for her weekly appointments. She assisted Sarah's son during his sessions. She learned their names, their stories, their struggles. She learned that Dorothy taught for 40 years, but her pension barely covered her medical expenses. That Sarah worked 16-hour days to afford her son's therapy. That Marcus dreamed of being a scientist, but worried he'd never live long enough. She learned that accessibility wasn't just about parking spots. It was about ramps, doors, bathrooms, attitudes. It was about a million small things that able-bodied people never thought about. She learned that every barrier removed, every accommodation made, every bit of access granted was a victory. A chance for someone to live fully. She learned to see people. Really see them. Not as obstacles. Not as inconveniences. As human beings. With dreams. With struggles. With dignity. Now, standing in that hospital mirror, Victoria hardly recognizes herself. Not because she looks different physically, but because she feels different. Smaller somehow. More humble. More aware. Ready. Patricia asks from the doorway. For what? Victoria turns. Court. Your review hearing. It's today. Victoria's stomach drops. She'd been so focused on the work, she almost forgot. Already. Time flies when you're actually doing something meaningful, Patricia says. There's no warmth in her voice. But there's no coldness either. Just fact. They drive to the courthouse together. Patricia has to submit her report. Her assessment of Victoria's service. The courtroom looks the same. Same wooden benches. Same flags. Same feeling of serious business. But Victoria feels different walking in. Last time she was angry. Defiant. Today she's nervous. Worried. She actually cares what Judge Caprio thinks. He enters. Everyone stands. She stands faster than anyone. Please be seated, Judge Caprio says. His eyes scan the room. Land on Victoria. There's curiosity there. Interest. Case 2025 TR 94738. Follow-up hearing, Maria announces. Mrs. Brennan, Judge Caprio says. Please approach. Victoria walks forward. Her legs feel weak. But she keeps going. Stands in the same spot she stood 6 weeks ago. Everything and nothing is different. I've received Patricia's report, Judge Caprio says. He holds up a document. She says you completed 75 hours so far. Out of 200 required. She says you were late once. On time every other day. She says you work hard. That you don't complain. That you engage with the patients. That you're learning. He pauses. She also says something interesting. She says you cried last week. Tell me about that. Victoria swallows hard. I was helping a little girl. She's 6. She has cerebral palsy. She was trying so hard to take 3 steps. Just 3. She'd been working on it for months. And she did it. She took 3 steps. Everyone cheered. And I broke down. Because it hit me. How hard she works for something I take for granted every single day. How much effort goes into things I never think about. I felt ashamed. And grateful. And sad. All at once. Judge Caprio nods slowly. What else have you learned? I learned that I was selfish, Victoria says. Her voice is steady now. Clear. I didn't think about anyone but myself. I lived in this bubble where my problems were the only problems. My time was the only time that mattered. I looked at people like Dorothy and Sarah, and I didn't really see them. They were just background. People in my way. I'm ashamed of that. I'm ashamed of who I was. Who I was, Judge Caprio repeats. Past tense. I'm trying to be different, Victoria says. I don't know if I'm succeeding, but I'm trying. Every day. To be more aware. More considerate. More human. Tell me about your apology. The one you're supposed to write. Victoria reaches into her bag. Pulls out a stack of papers. I started writing it. I've rewritten it 12 times. Because every time I finish, I realize I learned something new. Something I should include. I'm not ready to publish it yet. But I'm getting there. I want to be right. Not just words. Real meaning. Judge Caprio takes the papers. Scans them. His expression is unreadable. This is good. Raw. Honest. But you're right. It's not ready. Keep working on it. I will, Your Honor. Patricia says you asked to extend your hours. To work more than the required 10 per week. Why? Victoria takes a breath. Because I want to. Because the work matters. Because those people matter. I meet someone new every day who changes how I see the world. I don't want to stop. Not yet. Even though it's hard, Even though it's exhausting. Especially because it's hard. Because I need that. I need to understand what hard really means. For my whole life, hard meant planning a seating chart or dealing with a difficult caterer. That's not hard. That's just inconvenient. Hard is what Marcus faces every day. What Dorothy faces. What Sarah faces. I need to understand that. To really understand it. Judge Caprio leans back. Studies her. Long seconds pass. I'm going to ask you a question. And I want the truth. The absolute truth. If I dismiss the rest of your service right now. If I said you're done, you're free, what would you do? Victoria doesn't hesitate. I'd go back tomorrow. I'd keep working. Maybe not 10 hours a week. But I'd still go. Because I'm not doing it for you anymore. I'm doing it for me. And for them. Silence fills the courtroom. Judge Caprio's eyes are soft now. Understanding. Mrs. Brennan, I'm going to do something unusual. I'm going to reduce your remaining hours. From 125 to 50. Victoria's eyes widen. Your Honor. Let me finish. I'm reducing them because I believe you've learned what I hoped you'd learn. But those 50 hours are still mandatory. After that, if you choose to continue, that's your decision. Your choice. Not my order. Thank you, Victoria whispers. Don't thank me yet. There's one more thing. Your apology. When it's ready, truly ready, you'll publish it. And you'll speak at a city council meeting. In person. About accessibility. About what you learned. About what the city can do better. Will you do that? Yes, Victoria says. Absolutely yes. Good. Then we're adjourned. Keep up the good work. The gavel comes down. Softer this time. Not a punishment. An acknowledgement. Victoria turns to leave. But Dorothy is there. Wheeling toward her. Victoria's heart races. They haven't spoken since that day in court. Dorothy, Victoria starts. I know, Dorothy interrupts. I've been watching. I volunteer at the hospital library. I've seen you. With Marcus. With the others. You're different. I'm trying to be. That's all anyone can do, Dorothy says. She extends her hand. Thank you for trying. Victoria takes it. Shakes it. Tears blur her vision. Thank you for helping me see. 3 months later. The Providence City Council chamber is packed. Every seat filled. People stand along the walls. News cameras set up in the back. This is a big meeting. The council is voting on new accessibility initiatives. Expanding handicapped parking. Increasing fines for violations. Creating a task force to audit public buildings. The mayor is there. Thomas Brennan. He sits in the audience. Not at the council table. Not in a position of power. Just a man supporting his wife. Victoria Brennan stands at the podium. In front of her is a microphone. Behind her, projected on a large screen, are photos. Photos from her community service. Victoria with Marcus. Victoria pushing wheelchairs. Victoria helping patients. In every photo, she looks different. Alive. Present. Real. Good evening, Victoria says. Her voice is clear. Strong. My name is Victoria Brennan. 6 months ago, I was the villain in a story that went viral. I parked in handicapped spots. I disrespected Judge Caprio. I showed contempt for the law and for people with disabilities. I was, in every way that matters, wrong. She takes a breath. The room is silent. Listening. I want to tell you what I learned. But more importantly, I want to tell you what needs to change. Because I was wrong, yes. But I was also enabled. By a society that doesn't take accessibility seriously enough. By a system that makes it easy to ignore the needs of others. By a culture that values convenience over compassion. She clicks to the next slide. Statistics. Numbers. Data. There are 42,000 people with disabilities in Providence. That's 15% of our population. And yet, only 3% of our parking spaces are designated handicapped. That's not enough. Not even close. We need to triple that number. We need more spaces. Better enforcement. Harsher penalties for violations. Click. Another slide. A map of the city. Red dots everywhere. These red dots represent places where accessibility is inadequate. Buildings without ramps. Sidewalks without curb cuts. Businesses without accessible entrances. This is unacceptable. We can do better. We must do better. Click. Another photo. This one of Marcus. Smiling his bright smile. This is Marcus. He's 13 now. He's brilliant. He loves science. He wants to be a researcher. To find cures for diseases like his. But his school isn't fully accessible. The science lab is on the second floor. No elevator. So he can't participate in experiments. Can't explore his passion. Can't reach his potential. Because we failed to plan for people like him. Her voice cracks. She pauses. Steadies herself. That's not Marcus's failure. That's ours. Every one of us. We created a world that excludes people. Not with malice necessarily, but with indifference. With assumptions. With the belief that accessibility is someone else's problem. Someone else's responsibility. But it's not. It's ours. All of ours. Click. Photo of Dorothy. This is Dorothy. She taught second grade for 40 years. She shaped minds. Built futures. Gave everything to this community. And when she needed help, when she needed basic access, we made it hard. We made her fight for every accommodation. We made her navigate a world designed without her in mind. That's wrong. She deserves better. They all deserve better. Victoria looks directly at the council members, at the mayor, at the cameras. I propose a comprehensive accessibility initiative. $5 million allocated to retrofitting public buildings. Mandatory accessibility audits for all businesses. Increased fines for parking violations in handicapped zones. Minimum fine, $500. Second offense, $1,000. Third offense, license suspension and criminal charges. No exceptions. No excuses. A council member raises his hand. That's a lot of money. Where do we get it? We prioritize it, Victoria says. We find it the same way we find money for everything else we deem important. We cut other budgets. We seek grants. We fundraise. We do what's necessary. Because this isn't optional. This is civil rights. This is human dignity. This is justice. Another council member speaks. You're asking us to be aggressive. That might upset people. Good, Victoria says. Let them be upset. I was upset when Judge Caprio sentenced me. I was angry. I felt persecuted. But I was wrong. And my discomfort led to growth. To change. To understanding. Sometimes people need to be uncomfortable to learn. To evolve. To become better. She steps back from a microphone. I don't expect you to forgive me. I don't expect the disability community to welcome me with open arms. I don't deserve that. But I do expect action. I expect change. I expect this council to do what's right. Not because I'm asking, but because it's long overdue. She gathers her notes. Thank you for your time. Silence. Then slowly applause. It starts with Dorothy. Then Sarah. Then others. It builds. Grows. Fills the chamber. The council votes. 7-2. The initiative passes. Outside, after the meeting, Victoria stands on the steps. The night air is cool. Clean. Her husband joins her. I'm proud of you, Thomas says. I'm still ashamed, Victoria admits, of who I was, what I did. But you're different now. That's what matters. Is it enough? I don't know, Thomas says honestly. But it's a start. Victoria nods. Looks at the city lights. I'm going back to the hospital tomorrow. Marcus has a big test coming up. I'm helping him study. You don't have to anymore. Your service is done. I know, but I want to. Thomas smiles. Takes her hand. Then let's go home. Big day tomorrow. They walk to their car. Not a Mercedes anymore. Victoria sold it. Bought a used Honda. Donated the difference to disability charities. Small gesture, but meaningful. As they drive, Victoria thinks about the last 6 months. About everything that changed. She's not the same person. She'll never be the same person. And she's grateful for that. Judge Caprio sits in his chambers. Late evening. He's reviewing cases for tomorrow. His desk lamp casts warm light over papers. Documents. Files. Lives waiting for judgment. Maria knocks on the door. You're still here. Just finishing up, he says. You saw the news? About Victoria Brennan's speech. I did. What did you think? Judge Caprio leans back. Considers. I think she learned. Really learned. Not just the lesson, but why the lesson mattered. That's rare. Most people comply. They do what they're told. But they don't change. Not really. She changed. Do you think she'll stick with it? Or will she go back to who she was? I don't know, Judge Caprio admits. I hope not. But people are complicated. Change is hard. The real test comes later. When the cameras are gone. When nobody's watching. That's when we see who someone really is. You gave her a chance, Maria says. Not everyone would have. Everyone deserves a chance, Judge Caprio says. Not a free pass. Not an excuse. But a chance. To learn. To grow. To become better. That's what justice should be about. Not just punishment. Transformation. Maria smiles. You're a good man, Judge. I'm just trying to do my job right, he says. One case at a time. She leaves. Judge Caprio returns to his work. Case files. Names. Stories. Each one a person. A life. A chance for justice. He thinks about Victoria. About the scared, angry woman who stood in his courtroom 6 months ago. About the humble, determined woman she became. About the speech she gave tonight. He thinks about Marcus and Dorothy and Sarah. About all the people affected by Victoria's actions. By her transformation. He thinks about the bigger picture. About how one case, one person, one moment can ripple outward. Can create change. Can make a difference. That's why he does this. Not for the power. Not for the recognition. But for moments like this. When justice isn't just served. It's understood. It's felt. It's real. He closes the file in front of him. Opens the next one. Another case. Another story. Another chance. The work continues. The work always continues. And Judge Frank Caprio will be here. Doing his job. One case at a time. With dignity. With fairness. With the unwavering belief that everyone, no matter who they are, deserves equal treatment under the law. Closing words. This story teaches us something important. Something we all need to remember. Privilege is not bad. Wealth is not bad. Success is not bad. But entitlement is poison. The belief that rules don't apply to you. That other people don't matter. That your convenience is worth more than someone else's dignity. That's the sickness. Victoria Brennan learned something that many people never learn. That true strength comes from humility. That real power comes from service. That lasting change comes from understanding. She didn't just pay fines. She didn't just complete community service. She transformed. She opened her eyes. She opened her heart. She became someone new. And that transformation didn't just help her. It helped Marcus. It helped Dorothy. It helped Sarah. It helped an entire city. Because when one person changes, really changes, it creates waves. It inspires others. It shows what's possible. Judge Caprio didn't just punish Victoria. He educated her. He challenged her. He gave her the tools to become better. That's what good justice does. It doesn't just punish wrongdoing. It prevents future wrongdoing. It creates better citizens, better communities, better worlds. Money can buy many things. Designer clothes, luxury cars, expensive jewelry. It can buy access to powerful people. It can buy comfort and convenience and status. But money cannot buy character. It cannot buy empathy. It cannot buy wisdom. It cannot buy the kind of transformation that Victoria underwent. And in Judge Frank Caprio's courtroom, money definitely cannot buy justice. Justice is blind. It sees no color, no class, no connections. It sees only right and wrong, actions and consequences, choices and accountability. That's the lesson. That's what we must remember. That's what we must teach our children and our neighbors and ourselves. We are all equal under the law. We are all responsible for our choices. We are all capable of change. And we are all, every single one of us, accountable for how we treat the most vulnerable among us. Those handicapped parking spots? They're not just painted lines on pavement. They're promises. Promises that we, as a society, see everyone, value everyone, make room for everyone. When we break those promises, we break something sacred. We break trust. We break community. We break the bonds that hold us together. But when we keep those promises, when we honor them, when we fight to protect them, we create something beautiful. We create a world where everyone belongs, where everyone matters, where everyone has a chance. That's the world Judge Caprio fights for every day. In his courtroom, with his wisdom, with his fairness, with his unwavering belief in human potential. That's the world Victoria Brennan now fights for. In hospitals, in council chambers, in every interaction, every day. That's the world we should all fight for. Not because it's easy, but because it's right. Not because someone is watching, but because it matters. Not because we'll be rewarded, but because it's who we should be. That's justice. Real justice. Equal justice. Justice for all.